It's been a relatively busy week for Ozzy Osbourne. Of course, at the beginning of this week, we were talking about the dissolution of his marriage with Sharon. But the two were together Thursday in order to promote Ozzfest meets Knotfest, which is a two-day event that's going to be taking place in San Bernardino, California on September the 24th and the 25th. And this is supposed to be a meeting of the minds of two very large heavy metal festivals, one that could be said is past and one that is current. Ozzfest, of course, for over a decade was the go-to concert for heavy metal fans here in America, and Knotfest over the past couple of years has definitely gained a lot of acclaim, and there's a lot of folks that want to go to that. So I want to get into some of my basic feelings about this after we go over the lineup. This is more of a first impressions video than anything else, considering I think that this idea has some merit. So let's take a look here at the lineup. First of all, let's look at Saturday's lineup. We have Still Rebel, The Shrine, Nails, Cataclysm, and Municipal Waste on the Nuclear Blast stage. On the Lemmy stage, which is named, of course, after Lemmy Kilmister, we have Children of Bodom, Hatebreed, Devil Driver, Goat Horror, Huntress, and Dead Cross. And then on the main stage, we have Rival Sons, Black Label Society, Opeth, Megadeth, Disturbed, and then, of course, highlighted by Black Sabbath. Now, moving on to what they're calling the Knotfest lineup, which is on Sunday, September the 25th. We have the following. On the Nuclear Blast stage, we have Whitechapel, Comba Christ, Death Angel, Sim, and Oni. On the Lemmy stage, we have Sabaton, we have Suicide Silence, Overkill, Immure, Butcher Babies, and Man with a Mission, poor Overkill. And then on the main stage, we have Slipknot, Slayer, Amon Amarth, Anthrax, and Trivium. So that's the lineup. I mean, wow, that's pretty much a who's who. There's a couple of different subgenres of the music that's been represented there, and overall it kind of combines some of those, really hot bands that have been sort of in the words and in the mouths of a lot of people for the past couple of years, and that's definitely what you want to aim for with a super build like this. Now, I think that this is a good idea, actually, and one of the main reasons why I feel that to be the case is that losing Mayhem Fest was a it was a much bigger loss for heavy metal than you might imagine, regardless to your thoughts and feelings about it. It's principally because the one thing that you see in Europe and in other regions of the globe where heavy metal is seen very, very highly is these very large festivals, these travel fest locations that have just these super builds and these super lineups at these locations that have now become synonymous with heavy metal and synonymous with these fests and everything like that. And we have seen here in America that the super festival build with things such as South by Southwest and Bonnaroo definitely does work. It does flock people out there. People want to go. They want to make an experience out of it. And it's something that for heavy metal certainly can be just as easily achieved, and really something that should be achieved. And in reality, it's something that may be able to be done with a little bit more affordability in mind. Though this is definitely a step in the right direction. However, it is one of those experiences that is relegated to only one location, which I understand that all of those European festivals do boast that same designation, but stay with me here for just a moment. I feel that this is something, since it's a trial run or a first experience, that if there could be a couple of other builds in some areas of this country, considering it is a very large country, that it would be a bit helpful and perhaps would promote the idea a little bit more. We do have one on the East Coast, which is Prague Power, that takes place down in the South, I believe in Atlanta, each and every single year, and it's one that continues to still build some acclaim to this day. But a large festival idea is certainly one that could, should, and shall work in America, considering it's a great place to see a ton of your favorite bands over the course of a couple of days. It makes it into more than just a one-day experience where perhaps you go down there and you enjoy yourself and that's it. You get the experience of maybe getting to camp out, you get the experience of really taking part in perhaps some community activities with some of the other folks that you meet. You meet a lot of great fans of heavy metal. You kind of maybe form some friendships, some bonds, whatever it may be. Of course, there's always been a joke on this channel about CKN Fest, that it was something that we were going to go for, and believe me, it would take a hell of a lot of money for that to happen, and I would definitely want it to be sort of like a 2 or 3 day festival build, like you see over in New York, because I think that model is something that works, and it's something that attracts a boatload of people. But it would also be one that I would want to do in a couple of different locations in America on maybe a couple of different weekends. You know, perhaps have one for each of the 4 major regions of this country. One for the Northwest, one for the Southwest, one for the North and East, one for the South and East. And I'm not excluding the nation's midsection. I'm saying you sort of meet it in the middle, or you meet it in a large location, and then it's something where you get to, you choose which one that you really want to make the plane ride for. But I think that this has all of the possibilities of not only being a major deal, but it's something that perhaps should be considered. This sort of meeting of the mind, this merger, should be considered for continuance after this year, and perhaps maybe expand it with 1 or 2 more weekends. That's kind of what I'm going with here. I feel that it has a lot of great relevance. It's going to bring a lot of people together. San Bernardino is kind of an interesting spot to choose to really do this. However, it has a lot of history among Ozzfest, and of course Slipknot has performed on Ozzfest many, many years, so they have history with Ozzfest, who has history with San Bernardino, hence the location choice. I'd like to see this expanded. I think this is a pretty neat idea. I would like to also see this be the rise of more festivals like this in America. I'd like to see a little bit more of this style of a philosophy. I think that whole idea of a 35 to 40 date touring big festival, they're kind of done. It's kind of over. I'm not saying that attendance was certainly not, or it certainly wasn't poor by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly wasn't what it used to be, for one, and for two, I believe that the fewer dates that you have, the more important and the more alluring the concept of travel really does become. And really, the bigger build that you get, the more that you promote, the more creatively that you take part in that, then the better your result hypothetically should be. If anybody wants to plan something like this, has the funding, and needs someone to promote it or help you out with it, how you doing? I'm excited about this. I'm not going to get the opportunity to attend this show, but if I were in the California area, I would certainly consider it. If you're thinking about going to the show, tickets go on sale on May the 20th, and have a blast. That's all that I can say. What are your thoughts? What are your first impressions about Ozzfest meets Knotfest? I understand that it's not exactly something where it's, immortal meets fucking cattle decapitation. It's not exactly something that's for all the underground folks. It's, there's a lot of bands on this build that have been known for quite some time, but I still like the idea a lot. I think it's going to do a lot more good than it is negative. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I'm coverkillernation. I'll talk to you later.